Recently, Capcom had a meeting with their shareholders, and in this meeting they were asked about the future of Mega Man. Capcom specifically said they are evaluating their approach towards new Mega Man games and ports, but what does this mean? Is Capcom really working on a new Mega Man game? Ever since Capcom became a company back in May 30th of 1979, they've been required to have annual meetings with their shareholders since that's what companies do. And this year, they had their 44th annual Ordinary General Meeting of Shareholders, or as I like to call it, the longest name for a meeting ever. In this meeting, there were several questions asked by the shareholders of various topics, like what are your future initiatives for approaching the PC market, or how are you strengthening software development in the fields of AR and VR, which are certainly interesting questions if you're a businessman working at Capcom, but luckily for Mega Man fans like us, there were actually some questions asked about Mega Man specifically. The first question is one we've all been wondering. Capcom was asked, Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection was released in April and has surpassed 1 million units in sales, contributing to the existing IP utilization and user expansion. What are your plans for the Mega Man series? Now obviously this was a great question, as Mega Man fans everywhere have probably been wondering this exact same thing, but Capcom's answer to this was even more promising. They said, quote, including Mega Man 11, the latest entry in the franchise, Mega Man is one of Capcom's historic IPs and is loved by fans, and as such we want to take care in how we develop the series. We are considering how to approach the production of new entries in the series, which requires numerous factors including the development of a solid concept, ideas, and gameplay, etc. Now this is a pretty lengthy answer, but certain parts of this gave me lots of hope for the series, especially the part where they said, we are considering how to approach the production of new entries in the series which require numerous factors. This gives me hope because first of all, it means Capcom is considering making more sequels to Mega Man and not just making Mega Man Legacy Collections for the rest of our lives. We obviously don't know exactly what they're planning to do, whether it's a Mega Man 12 or a Mega Man X9 or something even crazier like Mega Man Legends 3 or a sequel to the ZX series, which I'm pretty sure ended on a cliffhanger. I've never played the Zero series though, so I've just heard that it ended on a cliffhanger, so please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, and I will talk about what they may be working on later in this video, so be patient guys. But regardless of what Capcom is planning, I think it is great news that they're even considering making new entries into the Mega Man series, especially after the many droughts us Mega Man fans have had to go through. But there's one more question about the Mega Man series that had a much more straightforward answer. Someone said to Capcom directly, quote, tell me your plans for new ports or collections in the Mega Man series, to which Capcom responded, we are considering our approach to ports of past entries titles, which includes addressing technical issues. Now, I'm not a coding or game making expert, so I can't speak on what these possible technical issues may be, but to me, this sounds like they're all but confirming a Mega Man Star Force collection. This shouldn't really come as a surprise to anyone, especially considering how well the Battle Network Legacy Collection sold, but this is still great news to me. Again, I'm not entirely sure what the technical issues could be, but maybe it's the fact that the Nintendo DS has 2 screens, which might be a pain to get looking good or working well. I don't really know for sure, but intuitively it feels like this is somehow a reference to a Star Force Legacy Collection, though I guess it could be possible that Capcom is finally making the Mega Man spin-off Legacy Collection that people on the internet in my comment section have been asking for years. You know, with ports of the Game Boy games, the Wily Wars, the Legend series, and maybe even that one Wonder Swan game, but I feel like this is the least likely scenario, so don't get your hopes up for that. Those were the 2 questions asked to Capcom about Mega Man specifically, and those answers were certainly good to hear, but what does all this actually mean for Mega Man's future? Well, firstly and most importantly, I think it means Capcom has not given up on Mega Man just yet, and they also haven't committed to only making Legacy Collections for the rest of the series' future, which is amazing news to me. Now, don't get me wrong, I love all the Legacy Collections because I enjoy the classic Mega Man games, but Mega Man 11 came out 5 years ago, and we haven't heard anything else about a new sequel even being considered until now. This is such a small amount of news, so I know I'm making a mountain out of a molehill here, but as a lifelong Mega Man fan and a Mega Man YouTuber, I feel like we need to hyper-analyze this as much as possible, because Capcom specifically talked about new entries and not just ports of new games, which is probably why the second question was about ports specifically. And again, before I go on a tangent about the new entries, I want to clarify that I have been enjoying all the Legacy Collections, and the fact that the Battle Network Legacy Collection has already sold over 1 million units is amazing, and I hope hope it brings some new fans into the Mega Man series. Plus, a Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection would honestly be even cooler to me because I haven't ever played the Battle Network series, but I have played a few minutes of the first Star Force game. I obviously don't know much about it because I only played a little bit of it, but I remember thinking it was very cool and I love the overall aesthetics and vibes, so I'd be super happy to actually play through all the entries if they were ported into a collection. And again, I will eventually live stream the Battle Network games for you guys, I promise. I've just been extra busy with real life stuff recently and I need to make sure my Wi-Fi is stable enough. I just got an Ethernet cord, but sometimes it falls out and I just want to make sure everything's stable because I don't want to disappoint anyone with a stream like that. But anyway, enough rambling. Since Capcom has said they're considering how they're going to approach a new entry to the Mega Man series, let's go over some of the possible outcomes of new Mega Man entries. Firstly, we'll start with the most unlikely and most disappointing new entry possible, a Mega Man fully charged game. Luckily, this show got cancelled in its first season, so the likelihood of this was extra low, but a game based on this cartoon has been one of my biggest fears ever since the cartoon was first announced. I haven't watched this cartoon in its entirety, and maybe I'll make a video on it in the future if you guys really want me to do that, but from what I've seen, it's very low quality and meant for very small children, meaning most Mega Man fans probably will not enjoy this. At the same time, if this show came out in like 2012 or 2011, I feel like there may have been some kind of DS or Wii game with it just because that was common back in the day, but as much as I miss the good old days, I cannot thank the stars enough for putting us in a reality without a Mega Man fully charged video game. And Capcom better not do anything to change that. You hear me, Capcom? If you're watching this, don't even think about it even as a troll. You'd be a real jerk if you did that. Anyway, that was obviously a joke for the most part, but another road Capcom could take that's still pretty unlikely would be finally making a Mega Man Legends 3. I know Mega Man fans have been waiting for this for literal decades. I mean, I don't know how long Mega Man can live up there on the moon, but surely we gotta save him soon, right? But the main reason I say this is unlikely is because Capcom already thought about making a Legends 3 several years ago and proceeded to blame fans for not making it, which was just a terrible play all around. Why did you do that, Capcom? I will never forgive you for that. That was just stupid. On top of that, it would just be risky for Capcom to put so much development time and resources into a game that's not guaranteed to sell well. The Legacy collections have worked almost like a litmus test for Capcom to see which of the Mega Man series are still maintaining interest from fans, and there sadly hasn't been any ports for the Legends series. And on top of that, there are only 2 entries, so it would be hard for them to justify selling a Mega Man Legends Legacy collection. Maybe Capcom could make a remake of the first Legends game and then the second Legends game if the first one does well, followed by the fabled Mega Man Legends 3, but I just don't think that's super likely anytime soon. It's obviously not impossible, and I would certainly be happy if Capcom did decide to do that, but if Capcom plans on remaking the Legends series, I wouldn't expect that to be their next entry at the very least. Though really within the next 5 to 10 years, it wouldn't surprise me if they did go down this route. I think just as far as their next entry that they're considering working on right now goes, it's probably not Legends 3 or a remake. The next entry Capcom could make that is probably equally as likely as a Legends 3 would be a Mega Man ZX3. From what I've heard, ZX2 ended on a cliffhanger, and unlike the Legends series, Capcom was actually able to make a Mega Man 0 and ZX collection, but unfortunately it didn't sell very well. Now I will say, this is another series I haven't been able to play yet, so I honestly don't know the difference between 0 and ZX other than ZX came out after the 0 series, but I will say this is my most anticipated Mega Man game to play that I haven't had the chance to play yet. I'll probably be live streaming the Battle Network series first just because of the current popularity, but I have always wanted to play the 0 and the ZX series, and I think I would enjoy it a lot. It's literally my most hyped Mega Man game that I haven't played yet. It looks a lot like Mega Man X, and I like Mega Man X, so I will make 0 videos and I will play them. Do not worry, I really want to. I'm honestly excited to play them. I just have so many other Mega Man videos I have to make first. But as far as a ZX3 goes, the only reason I say this is unlikely is because the 0 collection did not sell very well at all, which is sad. On top of that, Legends 3 seems to be requested significantly more often than a ZX3, and with those factors combined, I'd say they're both just as unlikely as each other for Capcom's next entry. Again though, if the new Legacy collections continue to sell well along with whatever Capcom's new entry ends up being, I'm sure they would eventually start reconsidering a ZX3 and a Legends 3 in the future. I just don't think it's up next, so never give up hope, guys. Just keep playing Mega Man and hopefully we'll eventually get what we deserve. Another idea that Capcom could be considering right now that's honestly maybe slightly more likely than we've talked about so far would be a Mega Man Battle Network 7 or even maybe a Mega Man Star Force 4. The main reason I'd assume these are more likely than Legends 3 or ZX3 is because of the overwhelming success of the Battle Network Legacy Collection. It is clear that the Battle Network series has a thriving fan base that's willing to to put their money where their mouth is, and that is something Capcom loves to see. Now, I'm pretty sure Mega Man Battle Network 6 had an ending and it wasn't left on a cliffhanger, so that might not be as likely, but if the Star Force Legacy Collection is even close to being as successful as the Battle Network Legacy Collection, then a Star Force 4 could honestly be on the horizon, especially because Mega Man Star Force 4 was actually in development for a short while before getting cancelled due to Star Force 3 not selling as much as Capcom wanted, which is the same story with ZX3 and Legends 3, but you should be seeing a pattern here. In fact, you're probably noticing a big trend here with sales and Capcom making sequels. And this is the trend that makes me think that a new entry to the Battle Network or Star Force series could very well be possible sometime soon. And by the way, some people might be wondering why I'm grouping these together, but it's because they seem to have pretty similar gameplay, and I'm assuming a Star Force Legacy Collection will sell close to the same amount as the Battle Network Legacy Collection, so yeah, I could be completely wrong with that, but I guess only time will tell. Either way, I think Star Force 4 is the more likely thing we've talked about so far, with Battle Network 7 only being less likely due to the series already having a complete story. But the first entry most people thought of, and probably the second most likely candidate Capcom is considering developing for a new entry right now, is Mega Man 12. I'll get into what I think is the most likely shortly, so don't get your britches in a bunch, but I think Mega Man 12 is probably the safest and most palatable option for Capcom to release as a new entry. Mega Man 11 sold amazingly well, and it's honestly surprising that Capcom has not already talked about developing a Mega Man 12 to continue riding that success. Now, to be fair, Mega Man 11 came out 1.5 years before COVID became a problem, so maybe Capcom was originally planning on doing something like that before COVID showed up. The problem I'm assuming Capcom is having to deal with though is that because Mega Man 11 was so innovative with the double gear system and new graphics, they may feel pressure to come up with some more unique features for a Mega Man 12 to avoid releasing an underwhelming sequel. Now, if they made Mega Man 12 just a Mega Man 11 2, I would not mind at all. In fact, I love both Mega Man 9 and 10, which did a similar thing. But I think unlike Mega Man 9 and 10, Mega Man 11 sets a different type of standard even with the new backstories between Dr. Light and Dr. Wily, so Mega Man 12 does have a lot to live up to. This could also be why Capcom is considering so many different things with coming out with a new entry, specifically to live up to what Mega Man 11 was able to do for the franchise. This would make a lot of sense, especially regarding Capcom's answer to the first question of the shareholder conference thing, but I still think there's one more entry Capcom could make that's just slightly more likely to happen, of course being Mega Man X9. I know you guys probably think I'm being overly optimistic with this guess, but hear me out. I'm not saying Mega Man 12 is unlikely at all. In fact, I'm saying it's the second most likely option and probably just as likely as Mega Man X9. But with the Mega Man X Legacy Collection being almost as popular as the classic Mega Man Legacy Collection, as well as the popularity of Mega Man X Dive being considered, Capcom really has the potential to make a lot of money with a Mega Man X9. The Mega Man X series hasn't really been the same since X7 released, and arguably since X5 or X4 released, but that doesn't mean there aren't tons of fans still out there who will always be willing to give this series another chance. Plus, a new entry to the Mega Man X series for the first time in almost 20 years has the potential to bring even more hype than Mega Man 11 did. I'm not an expert on stuff like this, so I can't guarantee what will and won't sell well, but I really do believe that if Capcom plays their cards right with advertisements and everything, Mega Man X9 could easily do just as well as Mega Man 11, if not even better financially. I talked about how a possible Mega Man X9 could play out in my video on Mega Man X Dive offline, but I've had a lot of comments saying all types of things about it, which surprised me. Some people really wanted a 16-bit reboot, some people wanted it to play like Mega Man X7 and X8, and some people just wanted Mega Man 11 style sequel with the new graphics over the classic Mega Man X gameplay. But there was one constant in the comment section, which was that everyone was willing to buy a Mega Man X9, and it seems like that is not going to change anytime soon. Now, personally, I'm part of the crowd who wants a Mega Man 11 styled sequel that plays like the first 3 X games, but I think a 16-bit reboot would be just as cool. Plus, even if X9 did play like Mega Man X8, I'm sure Capcom would improve upon that formula enough to make it fun, so I would still buy it either way. Though I have got to say, that probably would not be a good idea just from a hype and advertisement point of view, but anyway, I've waffled long enough, so let's summarize what we've talked about in Mega Man's future. It is clear that Capcom is at the very least showing interest in making a new entry to the Mega Man series outside of ports and legacy collections, which is great news. We obviously don't know which series Capcom will grace with a new entry, but the speculation is fun. I doubt it will be Legends 3 as much as I want to see it, and I doubt it will be a ZX3, but if Mega Man continues to see success in the next few years, neither of those games are out of the question. Capcom may even be considering making a new Battle Network or Star Force game with the recent success of the Battle Network Legacy Collection, which I think would certainly be amazing. But what I really want to see is a Mega Man 12 or a Mega Man X9 9, which I feel like is the most likely outcome. But who knows, maybe I'm being too optimistic as a Mega Man fan. What do you guys think? Do you think Capcom is going to make one of those entries or something else entirely? Or maybe you think Capcom is just trying to please their investors and actually aren't planning on doing anything? Please let me know what you think down in the comment section because I would love to hear it. But of course, it is time to end this video off with real-life Tooterp. Those were my thoughts on Capcom's big investor meeting and the future of Mega Man as a whole. Of course, this is a different video than what I normally make, but I hope you guys enjoyed either way. I am actually out of town right now, which is why I made this video, but once I get back, I have some very big ideas I'm ready to show you guys, so I hope you enjoy those videos and stay tuned for them, because they'll be good. Anyway, in the meantime, Tooterp out! Did you edit a cool effect there? You were supposed to edit a cool effect there. I really hope you did. Please tell me you did.